To somebody who maybe hasn't gone through what I've gone through, they're thinking, wow, you got out of bed. That's pretty fantastic. Well, you know what? It is. And I have to celebrate that. Sometimes when I freeze, I stand up and I just go walk out into the kitchen and I wipe down the counters with a spray that I love the smell of. And I come back and I celebrate the fact that I just did some cleaning, because that's all I can do. Little steps. When I water my plants, with pride, I highlight it that I've done it. When I sit and hold my bunny, when I enjoy my dog, when one of my sons comes by and we sit and have coffee in the living room, I write that down, that happened that day. And it was one step. It was one thing. Because all I can manage, all I can see is right now. And I have found it to be important, and I wanted to share that with you, that just these little steps that might seem like nothingness, they're little acts of just obedience and taking care of what God has put in front of us. I'll go find my cat and give him an extra love. And then I celebrate that I did that. Because I could have just sat in my chair here and froze and watched a show. You need to celebrate all the small things. I've been thinking about it a lot today. Gonna drop a little video here that I made, put to me reading a little bit from my book. I'll see you on the other side. As I was thinking about this today, I found myself returning to words that I wrote years ago while I was still in the middle of my own wilderness. I wrote, I am writing this not as a victim, but as a witness. Not to prove I survived, but to say, you can too. At the time, I had no idea what God was building. I only knew I had to keep showing up. Some healing comes like wind, sudden, undeniable. Some comes like dawn, slow, pink, faithful. Looking back, I realized God wasn't asking me to rebuild my entire life. He was asking me to be faithful that day. Sometimes healing looks like fire, burning down everything that once kept you caged so you can finally breathe. When I wrote those words, I still couldn't see what God was doing. I didn't know I'd write another chapter. I didn't know I'd start this YouTube channel. I didn't know I'd be rebuilding. I just knew I couldn't quit. I'm taking it day by day, taking time to literally look at the flowers, to literally watch them blow in the wind and have that be enough for that moment. Because at that moment, I'm looking at something beautiful that God created. I'm not lying in my bed or curled up crying. My music, I'm beginning to rebuild my music in my life, but I'm rebuilding it using every bit that God has given me for good. Sometimes just watching my bunny, sometimes writing the next thing in my organizer that I need to do. It's all enough. It's something. And I must celebrate the small things, because sometimes that's all I can do. And I know that these small things will turn into something huge and great for His glory if I remain faithful. When I teach somebody something on the piano, I don't sit there and play a full Billy Joel song. I don't sit there and play Piano Man and say, good luck with that. No, I'm teaching them one note. I'm saying, here's middle C. Here's another C. Find another C on the keyboard. Because that's all they can do. And if they're faithful to keep doing these one step at a time that I'm showing them to do, what's right before them, before they know it, they'll be playing Piano Man. I think that's how my life feels right now. Because it does feel silly to celebrate the fact that I swept the kitchen. But I do it, and then I write it in my notebook, and I highlight it when it's complete, because at the end of the day, I can look at it and say, it's been a good day. I've been faithful with what God has put in front of me, and I don't know what the full song is going to sound like. We don't get to know that right now. But we get to keep practicing. If all we can do is play one note, man, play that note and celebrate it. It really does something with my mind when I do that. If I can celebrate those small acts, because I feel broken. People have called me broken and destroyed, and I don't want to stay here. But I can't all of a sudden go out and be a whole person, filled with joy all the time, which I strive for. But I can still go to the grocery store and break down and cry because I'm dealing with this trauma. So I can't live a normal life, but I can do one thing at a time. And that's what I came here to say today. Have a cup of coffee and celebrate the fact that you were able to make that cup of coffee. You were able to sip it and enjoy it. And that's enough. That's very possibly all you can do. If you sit and look out the window and see the leaves blow, that's something. You're watching. You're drinking in God's creation. And I seriously am stuck in that place of only being able to do these little things at a time. Kind of like if I was to have surgery. Okay, I've had several surgeries. I didn't get movement back like in my shoulder when I had rotator cuff surgery for quite a bit of time. It was very painful. And then the physical therapist would have me just do the simplest little things, one step at a time. And eventually I was healed and my shoulder got strong and I was able to live. But I wasn't able to go from being injured, which is my husband leaving, getting divorced. I couldn't go from that trauma to completely healthy and whole. It's a process. And it's a process of a bunch of one things at a time. Do those one things at a time and celebrate them and be so proud of yourself. And each little step along the way, and each celebration for every step is going to lead you to playing Piano Man. I love that song. But you don't get there by just being shown where middle C is. There's a lot of steps, a lot of falling down, making mistakes, but it's all a journey, and I'm so glad. I literally am so glad that I'm not doing this alone, because even though I am talking to a camera, I feel like I'm talking to you. I feel like you are a new friend. And I don't think I would want to take these one steps by myself and think that I'm the only one that's proud of myself for having a cup of coffee in the morning. That takes joy in the fact that I put makeup on, because I know that all of this is leading to the next chapter that we don't see yet. The page isn't turned. We gotta finish this. We've gotta read one word at a time on this story, on this page, one word at a time. And then the page will be turned to what's next. Be faithful, be joyful, be thankful for every little thing that happens today, looking ahead to what's happening tomorrow. I'm so glad you came, and I hope you come back as we continue to walk through these castle walls together. I'll see you next time.